Hello, everybody, and welcome to Real Women, Real Wisdom. Sage advice from brilliant women just like you, redefining the meaning of midlife. And today I'm so excited because I have my darling friend and intimacy expert from CBS, TLC, and Fox, Allana Pratt. She's the host of Intimate Conversations Live, a weekly talk show about being intimate, being authentic, being you. And there's so much more, but I want to stop right there and get Allana talking. So welcome, Allana.
Oh, well, just hugs. It's so great to be with you, and it's such an honor to speak to your incredible audience. So, yeah, a little more about me. Small town Canadian girl.
Yep.
Hopped on my Uncle Phil's big 18-wheeler semi from Canada down to LA to be a model, to be a dancer, and I failed. No visa. So I was about to go home with $40, but I got a job dancing in Japan. And I moved there for 4 years, and I was quite successful, dancer, model, spokesperson, etc. I've ended up modeling on 5 continents, and I've been on 4 television networks being an expert. I've written 3 books. I've interviewed Grammy Award-winning Alanis Morissette. I've been able to coach TV host, extra host Lisa Gibbons when she was going through Dancing with the Stars. So I have like a lot of things that I'm quite proud of and impressed with, but I need to let the listeners know that I also hated my body, was ashamed of my sexuality, was this insecure damsel in distress looking for daddy's love, all the wrong places. So I want to take you back to that moment in Japan where things first started to open, and why I became an intimacy expert is I got this dance contract at the 4 Seasons, beautiful hotel, and I get there and there's no tops to the costume. And I'm like, but then I'm like, okay, all the other girls were like, no big deal. They're from France, they're from Australia, bodies are beautiful. I'm the one that's the loser. And I'm like, right, yeah, no problem. So I get out there, no one's gonna know, nobody knows me, fine. And I felt like a piece of meat. And on my side of the stage, the men like leered at me. But I was aware enough to look at the other side of the stage where the French girls were and the Australian girls were, and all the guys on their side of the stage were like bowing to them and treating them like goddesses. And I'm like, I'm doing the same steps. Like, what's the problem here? And here's what I realized, which is so important for us. I believed I was a piece of meat, and thus I was. They believed they were a work of art, and thus they were.
Ooh, I have goosebumps.
Right? Totally. So do I. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, so there's this ancient practice, you know, when the monks sit and they breathe in the pain and suffering of the world, and they exhale compassion and love. Well, I didn't know that at the time, but what I moved into when I got on stage the next night was, okay, I will breathe in your leering of me, tall drink of water, whatever. And in my head and in my heart, I will say, yes, I am a goddess. Thank you for noticing. And all of a sudden, they all sat up and they were all bowing on my side of the stage too. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm in control. I can transform men's attention. I can navigate men's attention when I know I am a queen, I am a goddess. And that moment changed my life because I get to decide this body's a temple. And you don't get to touch it unless I say so, but I'm not going to be a bitch about it. You know, our strength is in our vulnerability and our radiance and our beauty, not in our crunchy. That's not power, right? So that was like the first awakening I had. And then long story short, 2 divorces, mother died, life not going well. I was the only one in common. So I took all these personal growth courses and workshops, and I kept being called to be the coach, the head coach of the head coach. Like this was just my calling. I never knew. I didn't go to school for it. Yeah. I studied cum laude graduate at Columbia University, art history. I didn't see this coming, but this is my calling. This is my genius. This is where I'm the safe place of non-judgment and total unconditional love, where people tell me things they've never told anyone else, and they heal all the way home. And they are free, and they are alive, and they are badasses, and they have fun being who they are. Both men and women are my clients, and it's such a privilege.
Love it. Thank you for that. Love that. And you know, I've known you a while, and I haven't heard that full story, so that is a joy to hear. So I'm just imagining the men in the audience, and I'm imagining that shift that you made. And you're a full-blown goddess mentor right now. I mean, I get it. Not all of us have that goddess thing going on yet. So if somebody is listening to you going, well, yeah, but that's easy for her, what would you think would be some baby steps toward becoming a goddess like you?
No, thank you. Look at yourself in the mirror and you only go straight to the cellulite, straight to the jiggle, 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 straight to the stretch marks, straight to the wrinkles.
Yeah.
Nobody's holding a gun to your head making you do that.
Mm-hmm.
You're choosing to do that. Why? Because you're judging yourself. Because you think somehow being cruel to yourself or mean to yourself is somehow going to change things. No, that's insane. All that does is crush your self-esteem, crush your radiance, close your heart down, and just globs you on with this negative vibration, which isn't very sexy and isn't very fun.
No.
So even if the only thing you can look at is like eyebrows, like those eyebrows, fine, start with your eyebrows. Even if you need to do it like in the dark with just a candlelight, because we all look better in candlelight.
Oh, yeah.
Do what you need to do to start, at least first, being an allowance. Hi body.
Mm-hmm.
We've been through quite a few decades together. Thanks. Wow, there's something about the way your neck just comes down over your shoulder. It's really beautiful. And yes, your mind might go, yeah, but what about it? And you're like, yeah, okay, I'm just going to keep focusing on the good. And yeah, the breasts might be a little lower, but hey, this bra makes them look really good, don't you think? Right? And you just start being kind. What a concept. Being kind to yourself. It will grow into a little bit of flirtation. You're looking actually pretty good today. Or you had a big cry last night. No problem. Where's the black eyeliner? We're just going to do smoky today so we don't look all puffy. Like, you just embrace what is with love. You embrace what is with allowance. And soon you start to be able to embrace what is with celebration. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, you're making love with the lights on. And you don't care, right? Like, you can get there. And it has to be consistent, has to be authentic. It's really good to have support, because there are days that are really hard. It's good to have sisterhood and community. There are structures to guarantee success, and there's ways to set yourself up to fail. So be smart, be kind, be with other sisters, find your humor about it. And at the end of the day, you're the only one that really matters. It's really nice if he loves me. That feels good. It's really nice if I got lots of money. That feels good. And but none of it ultimately matters. What matters is that, can you love every part of yourself, even the ugly parts, the scared parts, the ashamed parts? Can you love her just as much as you love the perfect you? And when you can, you are unbreakable, irresistible, and at peace.
Yeah. Well, all of that is great, and not all of us have Allana in the next room to be that little voice in our head. And what I love about what you're saying is, it is back to the old thing of be your own best friend. It is that. But you've also said something that almost everybody in these interviews, in the Real Women, Real Wisdom interviews, have said, which is support. We need that sisterhood.
Support.
We need that support, especially as we age. So let's move into that topic, because it's you and I can go a million directions. I love that, and I want to do that. And today what I really want to focus on is, you're just crossing into midlife. So for you, this early 40s stage, is how is that for you, and where do you project? How do you project it's different for you than it was 10 years ago or even 20 years ago? What's different now?
Okay, so first I'll answer the question about support, and then about being 45.
Sure.
So I am a dork. I have little statements all over, like little happy statements. I open the fridge. Right on top of the mayonnaise is, I love you, Allana. Like, that's my house. Okay? I cannot do it alone. I have all my little messages. When I drive my son to school, we talk about what we're grateful for. I provide newsletters. I provide a radio show. I provide books and DVDs and all these kinds of things. I do Instagram messages. I give all I can so that I'm in your head. And people actually tell me, they're like, Allana, I was going to go outside, but I was going to not do it naked. But there's no one in the backyard. And the sun was out, and I heard your voice in my head. And I'm like, yeah! And they're like, who cares? Your body's beautiful. And she's suntan naked for the first time, in her 50s.
Yeah.
And she felt the grass under her feet and the sun on parts of her bodies that never really felt the sun. And she was alive. Like, these are the emails I get from people, and I read my emails. My list is up to almost 40,000 now, but I still read. My staff gives me messages because we're connected. I'm always listening to something positive in the car. Do what it takes. Who cares what it takes?
Yeah.
Just love yourself enough to do what it takes to stay above ground. And when you fall below ground, go in and love yourself there. Don't make yourself wrong there, because it's okay. There's nights when I just drink tequila and eat a bag of chips in the bath. Like, there are nights like that, right? When I'm really just pissed off. Like, I'm going to love her too. I'm just not going to wallow there, right? I'm just going to give her, like, I pole dance. That's my exercise. And there are times when I will put on my thigh-high black boots and I will stomp around and I will imagine sticking the heel of that thing through somebody's head, and I will love it. I will get that out. And there's other times when I have had some really shitty things go down, like losing some custody of my son, and it was all a lie, and they believed it. And they made me wrong because I am a coach, but I don't have a PhD. So I must be an extreme narcissist, thinking I can actually help people. And you talk about sex and you don't have a husband? Well, you must be an unfit mother. Like, I've been really made wrong. And I used to have 50-50, and now I only have 30%. And it's really tough to be so judged unfairly and keep your chin up and your heart open. So there have been times in dance class where I have everybody gets their song at the end. I just was in the center of the room, and makes me cry right now. Like, I just cried. Sure. But here's what makes me cry, Sandy, is that all of a sudden, because it's always dark, right, when we dance, because we look good that way. But I felt 2 hands on me, 4 hands on me, 8 hands on me, 10 hands on me, and they just held me. And they didn't try to fix me, and they didn't say it was going to be better. They just said, let it out. And I just bawled. And not just a little boo-hoo that, so our makeup doesn't run. Like, embody the sobs and let them out so they don't stay in your body and give you cancer and you die at 60 like my mom did. Okay? Let it out. And so I'm very human in this journey. But I know what I need to take care of myself, and I'm willing to be vulnerable and ask for it. And I'm not here to be perfect. I think it takes great courage to be humble. It doesn't take any courage at all just to try to be perfect and push everybody away and do it all yourself. That's easy. It's hard to say, may I have help, please? Would you help me, please?
That's huge. What you just said is huge. How do we train ourselves, retrain ourselves to actually understand the benefit of asking for help, that it doesn't mean we're weak or we're less than?
No. Well, I think because I'm 45, so 55 and 65, thank God you helped us get the vote, get better pay, still not equal, stop the rampages and the just all the horrible things that are happening to women around the planet. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And in doing so, you kind of had to be a man in a man's world to get it equal, to get some more rights in there. But in so doing, our softness was no longer valued. Our intuition, our radiance was no longer valued. Receptivity, receiving, it was no longer valued. It was just fight fire with fire. And I think what's happening on the planet now with my generation is that we're starting to, yes, I'm strong. I'm a badass, okay? I give me anything. I can now go through it, having been cross-examined by, and keeping my heart open. Okay, I'm strong, yeah. And there is such a value when my son comes home and he's upset, for me to be so soft and so open and not fix him and just go, wow, tell me more. Not, well, what happened there? Well, we need to fix that. Or, no, that's not helpful. That's not healing. That's not tender. And for us to value as a woman our softness to heal, our tenderness to literally change a life, our care, just as important as our creative, generative, world-changing, birthing new businesses and ideas, just as valuable as that. And just as valuable as our erotic, kinky, sexy, sensual, sacred nature, because that also awakens the best in the masculine. Not that I'm sexy erotic with my son, but I'll still be the temptress. I'll say, oh, you would be my hero if you would take this garbage out to the garbage can, please. It's a bit of my temptress. Yeah. And he's like, Mom, you can do that yourself. I'm like, I know, but I'm so much happier when you do. Okay. But he puffs up and he feels like he's providing. We can do that with every man we meet. Yeah. And any of the gentlemen listening, I'm designed to heal men's emasculated hearts because men have beautiful big hearts, and they don't get to cry.
No.
And so to have a safe place where they're not judged for being scared or sad is absolutely imperative to heal their heart.
Yes.
They are a wounded king until that heart is healed and they become a full king. And yes, I awaken them with my fierce, collie, cut your head off if you're not living your calling. I love you so much, right? I can be intense, but I can also be temptress. I can be, when you're like that, sexy. When you just did what you just did and talked like that and stood like that and opened like that and owned it like that, woo! Hot. Like I can be like that with them too, so they feel noble and chivalrous, right? We women can awaken this in the men that are taking our groceries to our car, or our child, or our lover. Everybody.
So I love this. And someone like me, I'm pretty conservative. I don't think of myself that way, but I seem to act that way. So flirtation.
What do you mean?
Well, flirtation for me is kind of like awkward, and it's taken me a very long time to learn in my relationship that how it works and how it works really well. So when I think about practicing it, like you're saying, with the guy who takes my groceries to the car, or someone else, it's like what are the baby steps to practicing that without feeling inauthentic?
Perfect. I love this. I'm very much about redefining flirtation. So you start with nature. Hi, tree. God, you're beautiful. Wow. Like, I'm really not even lying. Okay, this is how we do it. Or like going into a garden and just, oh, you're just so ripe and beautiful, the fruit. Like you just start, maybe in your head, maybe not out loud, people will think you're strange, but start flirting with nature and also start receiving from nature. Oh, sun, penetrate me all the way through to my heart. That's a safe way to let in love, energy, appreciation. So you flirt, then you move on to children. You are listening so well to your mummy. Oh, wow, what a lucky mummy you have. Like, that's flirtation with children. Flirtation is praise. Flirtation is appreciation. Flirtation is catching people in the act of doing good and lifting them higher. Then you move on to women. And you're like for example, like, I love your hair. You said big hair before this interview. I'm like, I wish my hair was as big as yours, girlfriend. I love it. Like, we praise women. Where did you get that purse? I want that purse. I'm not going to take it, but I love it. Where'd you get it? Like, we praise each other. Oh my God. We're normally so competitive with other women.
Yeah.
We pulling our belly around them, or, oh, she's got a man and I don't. And we're like, well, why? That just creates more separation and more defensiveness and shuts our heart down and shuts our radiance down. So just go, like I would say to a couple that, I even said this, oh, this is crazy. I even said this to a couple getting in the elevator. They were just like, whoa. I go, you are a hot couple. And then by the time the elevator got down, we were outside sitting down. She was from Canada. I was from Canada. We were having this great talk. He was going to try to set me up with his friend. Like, it was like there was union through praise of a beautiful woman.
So, so appreciation takes on a whole new meaning, and I can see what you're saying. And I know when I've done that, when I've seen someone, like the other day, a guy, I walked into the gym, and the reception guy had a beautiful smile, and that's all I said was, you have an amazing smile. You have $1 million smile. I just said that, and I felt, and I didn't realize it was flirtation.
Right, but that's my new definition of it.
I like that. That makes sense.
And here's the energy of it, because as a coach, like, I'm a coach, but I'm also a healer. I can see energy, and I know that I ought not to know. So I've got these two skills. So when you have to give appreciation, when you choose to give appreciation, you said you just filled up, because that's how it happens. In order for you to give something, you have to be filled with it to give. So when you flirt with appreciation and praise and goofiness, dorkiness, sexiness, whatever flavor you want, depending on the person, you are overflowing by the time you're done. You feel fabulous, and so do they. So you flirt with nature, you flirt with kids, you flirt with men, with women, and then we move on to flirting with men. Don't start with the hottest one, unless you did what you did and you're totally courageous like Sandy. You can just start with the old guys. Wow, there's just such a wisdom to what you're doing right now, or like, I'm so inspired by the way you were just parenting your whatever, or I just love the way you just look like you're loving fixing that car right now, like you're in your element. Like, praise the old guys, praise the younger guys. And then you'll be so practiced and so open to just giving love. Everywhere you go, somebody really hot will be there, and part of you will be like, ah! But you'll be practiced. You'll be like, hi, nice tie. Like, if that's what you can come up with. Who cares? Right?
I just got it though. While you were saying it, what I got was that flirtation, as I've known it, has an agenda.
Oh, of course.
It
But
has
so
an
does
agenda.
sexuality. Yeah, same with sexuality. Here's my body. I'm going to use it as a manipulation to control you so you don't control me. That's one way to do it, right? Or I am radiance herself. I am sensuality herself. I am beauty herself. I am vulnerability herself. I am tenderness herself. I'm eroticism herself. I am everything as a gift. Then he will step up and meet you. And if he doesn't, that's fine. But you're a gift. So that's a new way to look at sexuality. And a new way to look at flirtation is you're here to lift humanity with praise. And so when you see somebody that you're quite interested in, why would he be any different? And if you get a little nervous, just keep going. And you just praise something that he's doing or wearing or being. And you just give it. You give it as a gift. You don't give it to get him to like you. You don't do it to get approval. You don't do it to feel safe, because our work as women, as humans, as men as well, is to do the inner work, to heal all the places, which is my business, what I do with people. It's such a privilege. So they feel safe inside, approved of inside, connected inside, and home inside. When you do that, you don't need anything from anybody. You can choose to have it all. You can choose to create anything you want, but you don't need it. It's so different. You're such an invitation because you don't require them to say yes, which gives them all the space to come closer.
That's very good. And I read recently that we have twin drives, one for autonomy and the other to be in a relationship. So it's those are always pulling against each other. And when you have that inside that you just described for yourself, that gives you the freedom to be fully engaged, is how it sounds.
Yeah, when I met Florence Henderson once, and I asked her, what is your greatest advice for women? She says, love living alone. And I was like, oh, yes.
I get it.
It's this, because in truth, we are one, right? Oneness. That we know from quantum physics, we know from spirituality, we are one. So that's that aloneness. Can you be at peace alone? Because you're really not alone. You're totally with all that is all the time.
Yep.
And once you've got that place, that communion that you're having with the world, with source, with God, is now what you can experience in a relationship with a lover, with your child, with a client, all day long, all the time. You can have intimate conversations, intimate by the level of honesty, trust, and vulnerability, not intimacy by what body parts are coming together, with anybody.
That's very good.
That's why I call myself an intimacy expert, not a sex expert or a sexy expert or whatever. Yeah. Intimacy, into me I see.
Yeah.
When you look inside, can you love all of you? Then you're safe for another to be with you because you're going to love all of them. But if you judge parts of you, people are going to sense it because eventually you're going to judge them too.
Yeah. Now, about the midlife woman who doesn't feel strong like you, because you are just a barrel of energy, and it's wonderful. And you weren't always this way. I know.
No.
I know.
And I wasn't this way like 2 nights ago when I got knocked on the door again and he's taking me to court again. Excuse my language. Okay? There are nights when I'm just like, really? He wants to take me for more child support. Right? Okay. There are nights when I am not Little Miss Powerful. I went into the living room and I literally said, is today the day to call Vinny? God, would you forgive me? Like, I have these thoughts. I'm not perfect, okay? And I had a glass of wine, and I'm just sitting there. It took me about half an hour. And then I came back to center. And I call that great. I'm going to love the part of me that's hurt as much as I'm going to love the part of me that's empowered. So, yeah, this is powerful. I'm on my game. I got my makeup on. I got my coffee. I'm talking with my girlfriend. I'm here to give and serve. But it doesn't mean I'm perfect. It's not such a thing.
No. I guess where I was going, and I thank you for that. I appreciate that very much. How about the woman she's gotten to the place in her life where she feels like she's really over the hill and she doesn't really know anything. The first thing about she doesn't feel strong like you. How can she build that strength very, very gradually? She's not feeling strong. How can she start to build it?
The first thought is like we looked at each other and looked at ourselves in the mirror and start to love yourself. The next one is have an awareness that you're having these thoughts and you're at choice about them. What can you say nice about yourself? What can you be grateful for about yourself? What can you go, well, I might not be, but I'm da-da-da-da-da. Wow. And you start to focus more on the what I'm not, but what I am. Mm-hmm. Like my house right now, in my divorce, I lost my big, beautiful $1 million house. This is my little bungalow that I rent. Now I could make myself wrong for that. Or I could say, hey, I'm not in a shelter. I'm still living. I'm still doing it. I'm building back. I'm paying off my debt. I'm growing and growing. And I love this little place. It's showing me that I don't need a lot to be happy. I could choose more, but I don't require it. And it's a wonderful thing. So you start to focus on where you are actually succeeding, where you are actually a gift, where you are actually amazing, where life is maybe like pressure on that coal to turn you into a diamond. Yeah, there's been some pressure, but look at this new facet of the diamond that you actually are beginning to be. Focus on the good. And then find one thing where you get the biggest bang out of your buck to feel fabulous. And if you're on a budget, you find something that's on a budget. If it's baths, well, then you friggin' take baths. Mm-hmm. If it's taking your shoes off and putting your feet on the grass, then you do that. Yeah. If it's calling a certain friend that's always positive and it's always fun to be with you, do that. If it's self-pleasuring and you feel alive in your body again, you do that. You do whatever it takes to love yourself. Fierce love of self. And do that one thing where you get the biggest bang for your buck. Some people massages, they love to garden. Gardening, just get the fingers in the earth and they're like, yeah, just choose what it is for you and put it on your calendar just as important as it is going to work. Yeah. This is what I'm doing for myself. I prefer you do it in the beginning of the day because you kind of set the day up at that high vibration rather than waiting till the end of the day when you're totally tired to try to be good to yourself. It's a little harder.
Yes, it is.
But regardless, it's a non-negotiable. You're amazing. You will do this for yourself.
Very good. Now, I know a lot of people are going to want to know how they can reach you, how they can find out more about you, how, if they don't live anywhere near you, how can they work with you, or how can they just read your books? Or I know you have videos, because your videos would be, to me, I would go to your videos more than books because of your expressiveness, and I get a lot from that. So
thank you. A lot of people are saying the same thing. So, okay, my site is my name, allanapratt.com. So 2 L's, 2 T's, ALLANAPRATT.com. Sign in there, because then you'll have access to my nourishing newsletters once a week, access to my radio show once a week. Okay. You'll have the glam of all the different books and CDs, etc. that I have there. You'll also be able to find my blog, which has all my YouTube videos. You'll be able to connect with my Instagram, little 15 seconds of love. There's all the ways that I can just pour love into you. Additionally, if you go allanapratt.com/tips, TIPS, there's some audios, 3 for women and 3 for men, very much about this intimacy, sensuality as we age. How can we age like a fine wine or like a aged leather couch, better and better all the time? We want to know how to do this. So my audios for men and women. And men, download the women, and women, download the men, because it's really good to understand the opposite sex. To feel understood feels so great. And thank you so much for this honor. Thank you for what you do in the world. Thank you for this whole series. Thank you for showing up, doing what it takes. Yeah, you're such an inspiration.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Allana. It's such a joy to have you still in my life after all these years, and we met completely synchronistically at both of us at some place where people just don't meet and connect like that, and we still have. So, and that's the other thing I'd like women to understand, that the support issue, it's going to show up when you don't expect it. So when you connect with somebody and you feel that connection like a sister, that's important. Notice that. Keep her in your life. Yeah, here we are still, and I'm so grateful for you. All right, my friend, we have like 60 seconds. What's your last bit that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
What I'd like is everybody just to close their eyes and feel their butt on their seat. And I want you to find that little person inside who you've been judging, avoiding, denying, pretending isn't there, don't want anybody to know they're in there. And I want us to dive in together. You and me together. Inhale, dive into the area in the heart or the area in the belly, wherever they're hidden. And they're in the dark. And I want us just to sit down with them, the big you and me on either side of them, and just put our arms around them. And just say, hi. We're not here to fix you. We're not here to change you. We're not here to make you better so you'll get out of here. In fact, we love you so much that we will stay with you in the dark for eternity. Because that's what unconditional love is. And I'm going to start to treat you like that every day, even if you never change. Because I love you that much, I have your back. And I'm never leaving you again. And put your hand on your body of wherever that little part of you lives. And know that by doing that, you just became stronger, more sexy, more approachable, more kind, and more able to give that love, that acceptance, that allowance, that spaciousness to the people that are most important to you, which makes you so appreciated, so valued by yourself and by others. And my desire is that that's ultimately my message. If we could all do that and be that, we would all have intimate connections, honest, vulnerable, intimate connections with everybody all day long. And that's the world I choose to live in. So thank you.
Oh, love it. Love it, love you. Thank
Love
you.
you.
I love you more.
Great competition to have. Okay, fine.
You are so great. Well, thank you, dear. And thank you to everyone listening. I'm Sandy Rose Miller. And for Real Women, Real Wisdom, we will see you next time. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.